Hey everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Sports. This is Power Play, and we're joined as always by Chris Kuminski. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian. How are you?
Doing quite well. Obviously, the topics in this video. I mean, if anyone's seen the title of the video and thumbnail, they already know. But a little bit heavy stuff, a little different than what we normally do. So we're gonna try to cover it in as respectful a way as possible. And yeah, I mean, easy for us, two guys from America who don't have like a real, stake in it. But yeah, Chris, what are we talking about today?
So everybody knows about what's going on in Ukraine.
Yes.
Um, and we're starting to see a lot of sports respond to it, but no sport has been affected more than hockey,
Yeah,
at least in my opinion.
and like, would you say that makes the most sense, right? I mean, hockey is huge in Russia and that region in general. So,
Oh yeah.
what has happened so far that's been affected by the conflict, the war in Ukraine?
So the first thing that happened was the Russian league, the KHL.
Mm.
They're actually in their playoffs right now. They've had two teams drop out of the playoffs, and they're most likely not going to return to the league.
Okay, and
That's
were these Russian teams, or they're not all from Russia, right? In the KHL,
No, there's KHL teams in like five different countries.
right? Yeah, I mean, we
Um,
talked about how the Chinese team was gonna be, the national team was gonna be basically their team from the KHL,
the
right?
Cumberland Red Star.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, the Jokerit Helsinki, which is in Finland,
Mm.
was the first to drop out. Then a couple of days ago, Dinamo Riga, which is in Latvia,
Mm.
dropped out too, and that's a big one too because Latvia is like a big ally to the United States.
Mm.
So that one's not surprising at all.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
And
that's kind of crazy. You were saying that their playoffs were ongoing and both teams were in the playoffs
oh
when they
yeah,
dropped.
they're still ongoing. Yeah, and these two teams were both in the playoffs, and they dropped out.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it like you alluded to. Not only like sports, but like you know, DC, Warner Brothers. They're not putting the Batman in Russia right now. Like, I think the equivalent of like the Westminster Dog Show, but for cats, have banned Russian breeds. Which, like, okay, I guess that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But like, no one wants to at all be potentially perceived as supporting what's happening right now in Ukraine,
Oh
and
yeah.
this is an example of that.
I definitely agree. And the National Hockey League has already come out in support of Ukraine. They've cut all their business ties with Russia. A lot of the former NHL players in the KHL are leaving the KHL.
Hmm.
Um, and the International Ice Hockey Federation, the IIHF,
Hmm.
their big tournament is the World Juniors. It got postponed early this year because of COVID.
Hmm.
But they have come out and they have banned both Russia and Belarus from competing in that.
Right, and of course, Belarus now fighting on the side of Russia in this
Right.
war, so not too surprising that they would make that decision there.
But yeah. And I got to think that that particular one has to be a sting for both of the leaders of those countries.
Mhm.
Putin and Lukashenko in Belarus, they actually sometimes get together and play games.
Mhm.
Which, if anybody's looking for a good time, there is a video out there of Vladimir Putin falling on his ass.
Yes, if you need that right now, which, hey, I can't blame you. If you do need that, you can easily find it. Um, yeah, I mean, so how has, like, obviously in the NHL, there's a lot of Russian-born players. Chief
Yeah.
among them, probably what, like, the best active player in the NHL is Russian. How has the situation affected them and their situations here?
I guess, you mentioned Alex Ovechkin, which I love Ovechkin.
Mhm.
This kills me because he is a very enthusiastic supporter of Vladimir Putin.
Right.
In 2014, he was campaigning for him in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
His Instagram profile picture has Putin in it.
Not great.
Yeah, no, it's not great. It's not a good look. Ovechkin, though, at the same time, has also like said that he doesn't agree with the war.
Yeah.
We talked about it last time. He's in a tough position because in the off season he still lives in Russia,
Right.
along with his whole family. So like he can say good things about Putin, but potentially look really bad to us, or he can be critical, and that could affect him and his family.
Right. I mean, an impossible situation to be in. I like we don't know exactly what his thoughts are, but I can't imagine like anybody supporting what's going on right now. And especially like, you know, maybe he did campaign for him, but I don't think I don't think anyone really expected this to happen. I like a lot of, you know, the political commentators I've come across, like no one really thought this was something that would happen. It's just an insane situation and an odd situation to even be like discussing. Like, you know, part of the reason I love doing this channel and, you know, coming on here, talking to you, talking to Jack, talking to Chad is very much an escape from the real world. And this is a rare moment where like the real world has like meaningful consequences on the sports world that you can't really ignore. And like, we couldn't have come on and just been like, oh, how are the Bruins doing? Good. Yeah. There's certainly no giant thing hanging over, you know, this conversation.
Right. And the thing with the Russian players too, and I think this is really sad because the Russian players aren't the ones who invaded Ukraine. And some of the things that I've been seeing people say about the Russian players, there was a former NHL goalie, Dominik Hasek. He was a Czech player. He came out and said that the NHL should suspend every single Russian player.
Right. That's intense. I don't agree with that. I mean,
no, I don't either.
Like,
that's extreme, and it's not their fault.
No, certainly not. And I think it's a hard thing, especially when you do see, you know, the hell that is happening right now in Ukraine. It's hard to compartmentalize, you know, emotions and like to kind of. I think like everyone understands like the average Russian citizen probably does not want this and probably it has no control over the situation whatsoever.
Yeah.
But there's like so much anger and animosity towards the Russian government, Vladimir Putin, that like no one has anywhere to direct that, and they like direct it to the players here. I've seen like someone smashed up like a Russian themed restaurant in Washington. Is like, you know, it's not these people who are doing this.
Yeah. And a bunch of the Russian players have the same agent too, and this agent came out and said that like his players are getting like death threats from people.
Right.
On which that's unacceptable. I don't think.
No,
I've been saying it from the beginning. Leave them alone.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we missed or want to talk about on this one?
Well, I mean, like Wayne Gretzky came out and said, "Yeah, we probably shouldn't let the Russian international teams play." The Olympic Committee is probably going to suspend both Belarus and Russia again. And it's a tough situation. I really feel for everybody in Ukraine. I feel for the players. There's talk that they might not be drafting any players out of Russia.
Yeah.
The draft, they might. It's like no, you're not eligible.
Yeah, I mean, who even knows what the situation will be like in terms of would the United States let like Russian players come over here? Is there going to be like more sanctions around that? Who even knows? You know what I mean?
And it's like, and I don't know like how deep involved in leagues like the KHL and the European Hockey League, which a lot of uh, Russian players play in, also like how deep people in the Russian government are involved in them. So I suspect like if they are, or like if like oligarchs own a team, they might not let those players come. But I don't, I don't see them actually getting barred by the United States or Canada.
Right. Yeah. I mean, hopefully not. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, we try to keep it light here. We try to have like a lot of fun, but it's not really like a topic that we could shy away from. Not that I think we've done a good job in our short run, like a year now, of not really shying away from tough, subject matter. So
Yeah, like this stuff needs to be talked about. You can't sugarcoat anything.
no, definitely not. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description to the International Rescue Committee, which is helping refugees from this who are forced to flee Ukraine. You can donate one-time donation. You can make a monthly recurring donation. You can check it all out there. Obviously, I'm not an expert on like charities or anything. I just like try to read like forums and Reddit threads and stuff like that of like what's a legit thing, and this seems pretty good. So we'll leave that in the description of like all of our videos going forward for now. And yeah, hopefully this situation gets better. And yeah, I don't know anything else you want to say, Chris.
Yeah. I just say like I'm interested to see other people's comments too on this. I guess like it's a tough situation. We are a pro-Ukraine channel here. And if you want to know more of my thoughts, I am on Twitter, Chris_Uminski. I'll be talking about this a lot.
Yeah, so go follow him on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at @thefakemarr. You know all the rest. We say it in every episode. We're in all the other places. Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to like go through all of this and look everything up for us.
All right. Thank you.
And we'll see you all in the next one.